I've 33 female, been friends with Charlotte, 33 female, since we were little girls. Despite being close to her and her daughter, kindergarten, I don't really see her wife, Avery, 35, much. She doesn't get along with most of Charlotte's and my friends and is a private person, which is fine. Avery's a cardiologist. My mother-in-law's sister is sick, and I asked Charlotte if she could arrange an appointment for us with her wife. She called and said she had arranged it, so I decided to accompany my mother-in-law and her sister to the office. It all went well, but I noticed Avery didn't have her wedding ring on. During the whole visit, she only mentioned Charlotte once I said something, and everyone addressed her as doctor, while the other times, she insisted on Mrs. It was weird to me because she always wore it when I saw her. Actually, the few times we were out, Avery always wore her ring and acted like it was very important to her. I don't know what was happening, but I thought I should mention this to Charlotte as her good friend. The next time I met up with her, I said I had noticed that Avery wasn't wearing her wedding ring at her office. She laughed and asked me what I was getting at, and I just said I wanted to mention what I had seen, and I didn't mean anything. Charlotte said that Avery is a very by-the-book person and never wears any jewelry in her office or at the hospital. I apologized and only said that I thought it was weird that she didn't wear it and didn't mention anything about her wife, despite knowing who I was. Charlotte told me she had just explained that I needed to let it go. I let it go, but she's still clearly upset. My other friends told me I shouldn't have mentioned it and that I should apologize to Charlotte. I still smell something fishy going on, but I don't know. Am I the idiot for telling my friend her wife's secret? You are the idiot. I don't like Avery, so I'm going to stir up some stuff. Many people in the medical field don't wear their wedding rings to work. And why would she bring up her wife at your mother-in-law's appointment? It's a cardiology appointment, not a social call. None of this is remotely weird, except your behavior in this situation. Agreed. She wasn't even her mother-in-law. It was OP's mother-in-law's sister. Didn't know cardiology turned into a spectator sport. I can't imagine following my husband's mom and sister to a private medical appointment. Now that's fishy. OP's obviously looking for a particular stick to stir up some crap. No wonder Avery doesn't socialize with that group. During this time of respiratory events, RSV and the global issue, not to mention the common cold and flu, can you imagine how many times a day she washes her hands? Can you imagine how many times a day she uses hand sanitizer? Oh, and don't forget latex gloves. Depending on the style of the ring, it's possible it could rip them. That stuff is absolutely horror on jewelry. It's none of your business. Mind your own. I can't believe you doubled down on your behavior and still think there's something fishy going on. Good grief. Get a grip. You were being a busybody and rightly got called out. She didn't mention her wife during the appointment because she's a professional at work. Similarly, she wasn't wearing her wedding ring because it could interfere with her work. You took that as a sign to insinuate to her wife that she's a cheater. You need to get some of your own business to mind. That fishy smell is your overactive imagination. It's rotting your brain. After trying to have children for years, my sister got pregnant with my niece. When she told us the name, I explained in the best way I could that the name she chose was prevalent for an animal. Even more simplified, normally this is a nickname. An example with an American name, she wanted to call her daughter Bella, just Bella. And in my country, Bella would be an extremely common name for a pet. She said I was anticipating the worst and wouldn't change her mind. I gave up, but she was warned. Recently, my fiance asked for a dog, so I adopted one. My fiance's always wanted to have a dog called Bella, a tribute to her childhood dog. I even commented about it being the same name as my niece, Toddler, but she always said she wanted to name one of her pets, even before my sister got pregnant. So since she owns the dog, I didn't want to contest. We currently don't live together, but we constantly stay at each other's houses, and Bella always accompanies her. This weekend was my son's birthday, and there was a party at the house. So all my siblings, parents, in-laws, and my fiance came, including Bella, both. No one in my family had met her yet, not even a week after we adopted them, and we introduced her. My sister became quiet, and my brothers made a joke with the same names. The mood softened after a while, but when I was alone with my sister, she started saying that I was petty and choosing the same name as my niece for my dog and causing her unnecessary discomfort since I could choose any other name. I explained by saying it wasn't me who chose it, but my fiancé, and I explained the reason for the name. She even said that we could have chosen another name out of respect for her and my niece. I ran out of patience and ended up saying harshly, she was already yelling at me, and I hate being shouted at, that if she didn't want to go through that kind of discomfort, she shouldn't have chosen one of the most common pet names, and that there's going to be a dog by that name on every corner. She knew it, and she chose it anyway, so she made her bed by naming her daughter that. She left early, and we're not on good terms. My parents are begging us to change the name, but it's not my dog, and my fiancé won't budge, saying that she always said that Bella would be the name of her first pet to everyone. Am I the idiot? Edit. I didn't choose the name. If I had, I wouldn't. I let them both know about the situation. Here's what I said about the name in a conversation with my sister. My fiancé intends to name her pet that. Would you feel comfortable with that, for example? And warned my fiancé about possibly causing a fight. They're adults, capable of making their own decisions, and both knew about the possibility of that. Yes, I regret being harsh, but I was really stressed with her screaming in my ear. It's almost like a combo of everyone's the idiot here and no idiots here, because people name pets human names all the time. Bailey, Henry, Colin, even my dog's name is Olive. So I don't see why this is a big deal for all the parties involved. You and your fiancé did it intentionally, but your sister shouldn't care so much. That doesn't make OP an idiot, because he has zero power to control what his fiancé names her dog. So it'd be a toss-up between no idiots here and not the idiot. For the record, I vote not the idiot, because when someone chooses an extremely common name for a pet, that's simply not admissible as evidence of maliciously using the name to spite someone. Not the idiot, but I would think very hard about the woman you're about to marry. You told her the name she was about to pick for her dog was the name of your actual niece, and she checks notes, goes with it anyway, thus guaranteeing at least 10 years of crappy family get-togethers and a ruined chance of having a close relationship with your niece. Fiancé's using a pet name for a pet. The sister's using a pet name for a child. Eventually, someone else would name their pet the same somewhere in their vicinity. Are they also going to be blacklisted? Nothing needs to be ruined, but the sister needs to get over it. If she doesn't, she'll ruin her daughter's relationships over her pettiness. My female 26, sister 29, has a pre-tween son, Eric. I don't visit often, we live away, but I see them and most of my family at birthdays and holidays. When I visit, I usually buy Eric a toy or some candy, as he's my only nephew. To be honest, I like to spoil him, and maybe I am a little bit to blame for what happened too. It was Eric's birthday this week. I visited them, and I bought him a nice toy car. The car was quite big and had lights and stuff. When I got to the party, I wished him a happy birthday and handed him the gift. He opened it and he loved it. He said, "So far, this is the best one." At the time, I thought he was just excited, but with what happened later, I kind of get the idea it was more maliciously intended. An hour or so after the party started, when everyone had already arrived, Eric made an announcement to the table at which the adults were sitting. He said that I had won, and that I was now the person he loved the most, because my gift was the one he liked the most. I thought it was sweet that he liked it. Then he told my mom that her gift sucked. She bought him a board game, so he didn't love her anymore. He also told one of his friends that next year he won't be invited because his gift was poor. He gifted him a set of dinosaur figures. I think this whole thing of ranking the gifts people gave was crappy. I expected my sister or her husband to say something, but they didn't. They just laughed. So I told Eric that he's not supposed to say that about his gifts. People get him what they can, and he should be grateful. He said that he doesn't understand why he must love people who don't buy him nice gifts. I genuinely can't believe my sister's teaching this BS to her son. His dad told him, yeah, they should all give you the best. So I then again told him that a person's worth is not about how expensive or big the gift they got him was, and that if he thought that way, then I wouldn't continue buying him gifts. Eric started to cry, and my sister told me off because I made him cry, but most of the family and some of her in-laws were on my side and told them that it was bad to teach their kids such a thing. Our mom was quite affected, and I wanted to leave too, so we left after that. My sister texted me later to call me an idiot for leaving before the candles were blown out and for telling her child he won't get any more gifts from me. She said I shouldn't make empty threats to a child. I said that it wasn't empty, and it wasn't a threat. It's a promise until they teach their kids some manners. Am I wrong for discussing this when my nephew was present? Am I being unreasonable to him since he's so young? And would I be wrong in the future if I keep my promise and do not buy him a gift the next time we see each other? Not the idiot. What he did was incredibly rude and hurtful, especially when he said one of his friends wouldn't be invited again. I don't care if he's 8. The other kid was probably around the same age. I'm glad you're not enabling him. Please buy people gifts. I'm a gift giver, but it's one way of showing love, and it's not a reason to be rude if the giver puts effort into it. I can't imagine parents not being terribly embarrassed their kids said something like that, let alone agree and then double down. In this case, you didn't overstep. His parents clearly aren't teaching him any morals or manners. In fact, quite the opposite. They're raising him to be a monster. Keep your promise. If your nephew approaches you about it, talk with him calmly and explain why. It is possible you can be an influence for good in his life. If he changes his attitude, then resume buying him gifts. Everyone's the idiot here. Shaming a preteen in public? Not good. His brain isn't developed. He's young and naturally more selfish and clueless. His parents suck, however, but you're not the parent. You probably shouldn't have used that moment in front of everyone to tell a child you wouldn't buy him any more gifts. I would reconsider buying him gifts from now on too, but I wouldn't have announced it in that setting, but more privately. My 25 female, dad 47, is getting married to his fiancée, Erin, 33 female. Erin invited me, her maid of honor, and her 2 daughters, young grammar school age, for wedding dress shopping. I agreed as I thought it would be a nice bonding experience with Erin. I don't know Erin well. My dad and I were estranged for years. I'm not in the wedding party, which I'm okay with. When I turned up at the wedding dress shop, Erin was wearing a knee-length, sleeveless summer dress. This is important. The assistant had already pulled some dresses for Erin, based on what she said she was looking for. These were kept in the changing room, so I didn't see them before she came out in the first one. I had no idea what she was looking for, other than she wanted something that would go with the shawl she had from her mom. Erin's mom passed away a few years ago, so this was her something old. When Erin came out in her first dress, it wasn't what I was expecting. It was full length with sleeves and covered her all the way up to her collarbones. The shawl was used as a head covering. This surprised me, as she doesn't dress modestly in her daily life, like the dress that she turned up in. She looked like one of those dolls that people used to cover the toilet rolls. All the dresses were the same. She was covered up in every single one of them. I asked Erin why she had chosen these ridiculous dresses and offered to pick out a dress so she wasn't so covered up. Erin replied that it was important for her to be covered during her wedding. She explained that she was raised in a mixed-race household. Her mom was Muslim. When her mom married, she couldn't wear a modest dress, as she was forced to conform to a traditional Christian wedding, and it was one of her biggest regrets. Her mom had hoped Erin would wear a modest dress when she married, but Erin had chosen not to, as she wasn't religious at the time. After her mom died, she became more religious, but didn't wear a head covering or dress modestly in her daily life. When Erin and my dad got engaged, she decided to fulfill her mom's wish. Erin didn't say anything else to me about the dresses during the appointment. That evening, I got a text from my dad stating that he was disappointed that I had called Erin's modest dress wearing ridiculous. He said that Erin's religious beliefs weren't up for discussion or ridicule and that she was disappointed in me. He wanted me to apologize to her. Am I the idiot for calling the modest dress ridiculous? Obviously, you are the idiot. Just because something isn't to your taste doesn't mean it's ridiculous. And you're definitely not justified in abjectly insulting someone's choices. Dress shopping for an event isn't about your actual opinion, but for support in making a choice that feels good and suits the person's personality. You don't know Erin well. Not your place to have a strong opinion, especially after not asking Erin what she was looking for. You should apologize. I said, "Oh my," out loud when OP said she offered to pick out the bride's dress. How OP can't see how much of an idiot she is beyond me. And she literally said, "Ridiculous." I can't even. Great job making a person feel like crap for no reason. But I wonder if the ages are relevant. Erin and OP are closer in age than one usually expects from step-parent/children. So maybe there's something happening below the surface for OP, causing her to act out. I, 23 female, came from a family of 3 kids, 30 male, 20 female. Despite being in the same city, I rarely see my siblings or parents because they've always ignored my existence during everything. I've been self-sufficient and academically successful, so they justify they have nothing to worry about when it comes to me. My younger sister Mary had twins a few months ago. Her boyfriend didn't want to be involved in the whole process, so it's safe to say she's a single mom. My parents have been helping her raise her kids, as they always have. They always supported every decision she made, including not going to college, dating whoever she wanted, and having kids. I'm quite busy with work, school, and everything that comes with it. My mother called and asked me if I could watch the kids for a few hours on the weekend so they could take a breath. I said no because I was busy. I had a date planned. I've been dating my girlfriend, 29, for a few months, but no one in the family knows or cares that I'm dating or that I'm into women. My brother has work and his own family with 3 kids, so he's busy, as my mom said. I said I was sorry and I couldn't help out. My mother told me I was incredibly selfish to not care at all about my niece and nephew, only care about myself and ignore my family. I simply said it was ironic, given that I was constantly ignored in this family, and I hung up the phone and didn't pick it up afterward. Should I have helped her out? Not the idiot. That was pure manipulation. Your sister being a single mother is difficult, but this wasn't your decision. Not your monkeys, not your circus. They are not your children, so they're not your responsibility. You don't need to rearrange your life because she wants to have a child. Oh, the tangled webs family weave. You, my friend, are not the idiot in this situation. Your family seems to have a history of neglecting your needs and emotions. Now they expect you to drop everything for them. No way. It's essential to prioritize your life, especially when you have work, school, and a blossoming relationship. It's not your responsibility to fill in the gaps for your family when they have yet to bother to do the same for you. Your mom calling you selfish is a bit of a pot meat kettle situation, considering their history of ignoring you. So keep living your life, enjoy that date, and don't feel guilty about setting boundaries with your family. You deserve to be happy too. Yeah, the people who have kids trying to shame people who don't into helping care for the kids they chose to have are simply the worst. Considering you're being ignored, they have no clue what's going on in your life. And when they do acknowledge you, it's for you to do something for them. You don't owe them anything. If you had done this for them and later needed a similar favor, I have a feeling they would not be the ones to help you. I'm sorry you're dealing with this. You're not selfish for saying no.